Hello, I'm Greg, a sailor, a bagpiper, and an all-around jack of all trades. It's been a while since I've posted. First, Thanksgiving got in the way, then I got COVID, and then all of a sudden Christmas was upon us. Getting a week of downtime with COVID sort of really messed up my schedule. And it's taken me a while to get back into the swing of things. Now it's after the first of the year, and I'm finally getting caught up on all my videos. So you'll see a bunch of them coming out in the next couple of weeks as we make a lot of progress on the sailing vessel Slow Air. So thank you for your patience, and I hope you enjoy the next few videos. And don't forget to hit the like button and hit subscribe so that you'll be notified when the new videos come out. Thank you very much. Well, I'm having some problems with my GoPro 10. It seems to be overheating and shutting off. I don't know if I've got battery issues or whether it just doesn't like being out here in the hot sun. But anyway, it keeps crashing, and my remote mic doesn't work with this little GoPro 7. I might as well shut that off and take that off. So I have issues, technology issues. Anyway, working on the mast right now. I have taken off the spinnaker halyard and labeled that. I have taken off the topping lift, and I'm going to coil that up and deal with that. And then I'm trying to pull the main halyard and the jib halyard out. And the jib halyard does not want to come out of the top of the mast. So we look at the mast, as we talked about. There's a pin here and one sheave, a pin there and another sheave. The line goes over the sheave, through, over, and down, and comes out here. This is the jib halyard. This is the bitter end of the jib halyard. This end is just a little bit stiffer and doesn't want to make that turn. And I know I'm going to have to feed a new one back through, so I think if I just pull these two pins, knock those out, I'll have to replace the cotter pins, but that's an appropriate thing to do anyway, and then take the sheaves out, and it'll be, this is the backstay. I just, maybe getting into more of a mess than I want to get into, because to get those sheaves out with these stays in the way, I think these may have to come off also. Take off this antenna, because those bolts that hold this antenna on seem to be in the way of that sheave coming out. So I think basically I have to disassemble the whole top of the mast to get that out. Might not be a bad thing to do, so that I can really look at everything and inspect it all, but suddenly it's a lot more work than I thought it was going to be. Oh well, such is life. This is the topping lift. I love coiling line. So, I've got a 6-foot wingspan, so going about that is primarily making a 6-foot coil, and if you do that consistently, you get a nice coil. I know people coil around their elbow, and I don't like that, because one, your coil is only the length of your forearm, and if I'm coiling a long line, I don't want my coil that small, because I'll run out of space on my arm very quickly. And then, my coils are all the same size, and I leave that much extra. Then I can see where the bitter end is, and okay, I want the bitter end a little longer. That'll use up a little of this, and now I can just start, wrap around 3 or 4 times to hold the line tight, and then I've got enough left over to pull it through and loop over both times. And now if you're hanging it, it's pulling here and it's tightening there, so it's tightening on both bites of the coil, and it just makes a much nicer, tighter coil. Now I've got to label all of these things because I will never remember what they are. So this one is the topping lift. That one is the spin halyard, so just label them spin and pop. I don't need to worry about these little Burgee halyards. So let's go take a look at the top of the mast. I've swapped out cameras, and now I'm just using my GoPro, my old GoPro 7 that I was using for all my time lapse. But this is what we're going to use today for filming, since I've got problems with my 10. Okay, well, that's off. Let me go grab a screwdriver. Boy, I left the bulkhead open earlier, and it rained, so a little bit of water went down there. Those cement stairs become very slippery. Slippery when wet. Almost broke my neck just then. Okay, well, so again, dissimilar metals, stainless steel screws going into aluminum. There is some galvanization inside. Well, I don't have any coil like Matt from Diesel Creek, but I'll use a little WD-40. Let's see if that'll work. Plus I got new tensile really heavy-duty bits, and then they're 18 and 20 screw set head size, so they fit in nicely. Well, that worked. Without causing too much damage. Good. My concern was snapping off the bolts inside and then having to retap, whatever. Well, that didn't really want to come out. which is probably a really good reason to take it out. That went through that way. Oh, that's gonna fall right out if I leave that there. I'm gonna go get a bag and start labeling things. Okay, so this is the backstay. Backstay. Got that down and out of the way. And then this one was for the topping lift. Trying to take out old twisted bent cotter pins. Sometimes it's easier just to cut them off. Of course, that assumes that you can get something in there to cut them off with. Oh, come on. Now, that one's just a little bit too fat. There we go. Leverage. Greatest thing in the world. Backstay. This is topping. 2 peas or 1? 2 peas. So now I should start thinking about the backstay. We need a cotter pin. Topping lift is going to need a cotter pin and a block. And the topping lift is also going to need new line. All right. That's good. That cotter pin's pretty badly bent, so I'm actually glad we're replacing it. Let's see. Mast head sheaves will need cotters, 2. Oh, one sheave is gone. And the other one is gone. They're both sliding that way. See what we can do to get this other side out. Head stay is now off. There are 2 shivs. Three. So that halyard came through very easily. I don't even think we need a little mouse line on it anymore. You know what? It's there. I don't need it, but it's there, so why not keep it there? So this is the jib halyard that feeds up through this. And then turns into wire. So, coiling, give your fingers a twist. So if you see that it wants to do this funny little back twist, looks ugly, by just turning with my fingers that way, clockwise, put a clockwise turn into it, and that'll take that funny little back twist out. Now the problem then is that you're now getting more of these twists running all the way down the line, which means you've got to, you know, work even harder the farther you go. And then sometimes you've got to let a coil off and do it again. And then line is the same way. This type of line is, you know, woven line, woven and braided. 3-strand line is much more unforgiving about being coiled badly, because the 3 strands will sort of untwist, and that's never a good thing. This line is much more unforgiving, but coiling, we'll get into that in a lot more detail at a later date, should always be done in a clockwise direction. Okay, so this is the jib halyard. And I have a new one of these already that the previous owner purchased. Not quite sure why I'm taking so much time with this, since I already have one, but might as well. All right, so that is the jib halyard. Now I'm down to the main halyard. And the main halyard. And there's our last shib. So these are all 4 shibs. This was the head stay. And the head stay is actually the rod that the roller furrow is on. All of these shibs go with these pins. I think we will label those masthead sheaves. shopping list. Masthead sheaves, 2 cotter pins. We already got that. Okay, well that's good. We need a masthead light. And spreader. Well, it's not really a spreader light because it's not mounted on the spreaders. We'll take that off and okay, we need masthead light and VHF antenna. And then we are going to need some sort of a wind indicator. And so we go manual or electronic, and that will be the big question that we'll have to ask at some point. All right, so now, which end of the halyard do we want to strip out? One side has got a fitting on it, the other one doesn't. All right, this is the end with the fitting, so challenge is that my spreaders are preventing me from spinning the mast around the way I want to. What would it take to pull the spreaders? Not a whole lot. Probably should, because ultimately I'm going to have to take these boots off and clean things up. And that looks ugly, so might as well replace that. So, okay. Yeah. Piece of cake. We'll go grab wrenches. You leave the nuts on when you're tapping them with a hammer, hopefully you'll do a little bit less damage to the threads, and then try not to drop everything. That's the way that goes on, yeah. I think we need new boots. Those look pretty bad. Yep, we got some pressure on this because the mast wants to lay flat. And there we go. And let's see, just have to remember the starboard spreader has the block on it for the halyard. Not that it really matters, but it's the starboard shroud that has the cleat attached to it. Actually, I take that back. Both shrouds have cleats attached to them. One goes to the top of the mast, one goes to the spreader. So we need new spreader boots. These are the bolts for the spreaders. With all the leads out here, I better make sure I pick up all my tools as I go along. But I will never find things in all this deep leads. Spreader boots. We were trying to roll the mast over so we could get this side off. Let's get the camera out of the sun for a little bit. Main halyard. Do a little coil down. Again, my 6-foot wingspan gives me 6-foot coils. And every time I'm doing it, I'm putting just a little half twist in with my fingers. Just so that it lays nice in the coil. Now you can see there's a little twist. So if I don't pull that out, the line twists up. If I give it the half twist, I make that go away. But now I'm continuing that, twisting up the line. And now look at that mess. It's even more of a twist because that twist is cascading down the line. But I'd rather clean that up as I'm coiling, because then I end up with a nice neat coil. And that's the main halyard. Side stays. Terminology standpoint, the stays, head stay, side stays, jack stays, the jack stays go from the spreaders down to the mast, not all the way to the top of the mast. Those are standing rigging. They stand there, they never move. Halyards, flag halyards, everything else move around, so they're called the running rigging. So all of the running rigging is here, along with the back stay. The head stay is this long rod, and I don't like it bending like that, so I've got to figure out where I'm going to store that. And then these side stays, and then the jack stays. I'm going to just lash those to the mast again, and we'll put the mast aside, and maybe actually I'll just lash the jib track to the mast also, and that'll help hold it level. The real problem is the furlex at the bottom of it is pretty heavy, and I think I can disassemble right here at this point and slide this off and take the whole bottom half off and just leave the rest of it. So let's see what we can do, and then I'm going to get that line out of there and clean that up. So let's see what we can do about getting that apart right now. So if you remove this screw, the head comes off the stay, or the track, which is great. However, there is still a stay inside there, and I think that if I take this fitting off and pull that pin out, the whole body will come off of the stay and that swedge fitting. I did get the owner's manual. Surprise, surprise, that I'm a man and I would actually look at a manual, but I did. However, sliding this on over the extrusion, hitting the wire terminal, and it looks like this is already through the extrusion, so maybe it doesn't come off. I don't think it does. So I think I've gone as far as I'm going to go right now. I don't know. I'm going to take this assembly off, take the drum assembly off. I know I've taken those off before. I just want to make sure it's all supported properly and I don't bend this extrusion and I don't put undue strain on the shroud. So I'm going to shut the camera off and play a little bit more taking things apart, because you don't need to watch me make a mess. Well, maybe you want to. Who knows? I do have to be careful because spare parts may not be available for a unit that's this old. I know Mom, I took hers apart because she had a fitting that was broken and could not find the replacement part. So we had to reassemble and just use it as it was. Okay. Be more careful. Don't drop parts in the grass and leaves, or I'll never find them. Okay, I am going to take that fitting off the bottom of the headstay. That cotter pin is somewhat mangled. They say of all the things I've lost, I miss my mind the most. And I'm going to go put all of this in the bag labeled headstock. Okay, so that section goes around the bottom. This section goes around the top. Okay. So those pieces all go together thusly. I don't know where the bitter end of that goes. Somewhere inside there. It must come apart. Not quite sure how. Oh, that doesn't look very good. There's some wire jammed in there. I should have known. I was able to make it work first time around, but this is all Selden, which is British, so it's metric, and these are inch. I need to go get my metric set of hex keys. Okay, well, I managed to get off most of this. And I was able to slide this up beyond the base of the shroud. I'm going to wrap this in plastic just to keep it safe and protected until we can get ready to reassemble everything and then lubricate all the bearings, replace the lines, and do everything else. I've still got to read the manual and figure out how to take this apart and replace that. That's going to be a challenge since things don't come off without taking the whole swedge fitting apart and sliding everything off, which I don't want to do that. I mean, that would be... And then if we go up to the head of the sail, I mean, head of the... I haven't tried to determine... I think this is the same issue in that, you know, this won't come off. It might slide past that, and we can have stuff come off the top. Huh. Maybe I'll check that out. Well, I don't necessarily want to cause more problems. Looking at this, you can see that that's pretty bent. That's not the way it's supposed to be. So, I think we'll replace that fitting, which does mean taking it off the top, and then we'll see if this will slide off. But it does work. Okay, so this is the masthead sheave, head stay bottom. This is going to be the head stay top. All right. Ha! Success. So, the top part, the head, will come off. The bottom section, there is a piece in the track that flares out where the jib bolt rope will feed into the track. And that's just a little bit wide enough so that the lower section can't come up. But the upper section does. So I can at least take that off and fix that. Everything else, I think, on the lower section, all the bearings look like they're in good shape, and as long as I keep them protected from the elements, should be good. So, the mast is now stripped down. Everything is resecured. Everything looks good. I will wrap and protect this for right now, but at least the track is now well secured to the mast, won't bend. And we're good to go. Now I just need to clean up all my tools and things and get all the spare parts put away. Oh, fix that lashing and hold the shrouds up, and that'll be it. Now, I'm gonna see what I can do about getting the masthead light off. Those fittings there. And a little tape. I would have used heat shrink tubing, but not too bad. I think I'm going to pull new wires through the mast anyway. This one is pretty much gone. So it'd be nice that, think about it, that would be a light that would shine down on the deck. You know, when you wanted some light in the evening, or to see what you're doing on deck. And that should be a separate switch from this one. That's why I would, well, maybe that's an anchor light. You know, it might be nice to have an anchor light not attached to the deck light. But I think at the present time they are both wired together. And if I am pulling wires through the boat, I mean, I'll be pulling new wires through the mast, I can change that and do whatever I want. Alright, let's see if I can get these out without snapping the screws off. Screwdriver's all twisted. Alrighty. Huh. Well, since those are fairly loose, maybe we'll take those off. And there we go. So, 3 wires coming up here. White is the common, black and green. Alright, so all 3 of these bulbs were independent. So you could turn on the anchor light, turn on the deck light, turn on the masthead light. Ah, that must be the trailer plug that had all of those wires. Green, black, white's the common. Bob's your uncle. We'll leave those and we'll be able to use those to pull the new wires up through. Clean the mast up a little bit, clean this fitting up, and reinstall it. And that is a wrap. Got this all wrapped up. So thinking about the wires, we've got a common and 3 wires. One for masthead, one for anchor light, and one for deck light. I don't know, I mean this wire looks fairly new, so it may be smarter just to put a new fitting on the end. The only thing we'll have to pull is the coax for the VHF. Sweet. Looks good. Call it a day. Thank you for staying with me to the very end. I know this video was a lot longer than I normally do, but this whole mast project all just seemed to flow together. I probably could have found a spot to cut it in half and make it into 2 videos, but for some reason it just kept rolling. So again, thanks. Hopefully I won't make another one like these this long in the future. If you've enjoyed the content, please hit the like button and subscribe to get updates when the next video comes out. Thank you very much for watching, and thank you for following SV Slow Air.